defense.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all have non-negotiables, right? Like for me, pineapple on pizza. What are the things you never compromise on when it comes to taking care of yourself? Maybe it's hitting the gym, watching your favorite show, or making time for therapy. Life can get crazy with work, family, and everything else on your plate, and sometimes things that make you feel good get pushed aside. But when life is at its busiest, that's when self-care, especially therapy, should be non-negotiable. Therapy isn't just for dealing with big trauma or big life changes. It's a way to learn healthy coping skills and set boundaries and become the best version of yourself. Whether or not you've been to therapy before, it can be a game changer in helping you handle everyday stress and challenges. If you've been thinking about starting therapy, BetterHelp is a great option. It's all online, super convenient, flexible, and tailored to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time, no charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN. All right, we're back on Split the Defense Hockey Podcast, presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving in the Kingston and surrounding areas since 2004. I'm Webby with CP and producer Ted in the booth. Preseason Game 4. Our apologies for not being here. We had some injuries and illnesses, all bundled up in one. You should feel bad for us. We shouldn't feel bad for you. Thumbs up this episode, subscribe to our YouTube, leave us a comment. Now more than ever, we need you to download this show in podcast form and leave us 5 stars there. Come on, for the boys. For the boys. So we have a Leafs 2, Habs 1 win again. Back-to-back 2-1 wins. And do you have a first star in this game, CP?
Nicky Bobby, of course. Nick Robertson, welcome to the team. You've officially made it. I think there's no denying you get 3 goals in 2 games. He's doing all the right things. So, yeah, I'm excited for Nick Robertson now. So, yeah, Nick Robertson for sure.
All right, yeah, that's definitely where I want to start. So Nicky Bobby, 3 goals in 2 preseason games versus the Habs. Only the Habs. Didn't score against the Senators in the one game he got. Or he got both games against the Sens, didn't he? So I'm wondering here, is his defensive play, is his all-around game enough to put him as a lock in the lineup? Or you just think these 2 goals are what puts him in the lineup?
Well, I think like the important thing about his goal last game was that he gets it from a back check, steals the puck, fights off a check, and scores the goal. Even if he hadn't scored the goal, I think it would have been an amazing play for him. So yeah, like I think, and throughout the course of last year, I in particular wasn't a huge Nick Robertson fan at the beginning. Like I didn't think he, had all of those things that you need to be even just like a third line player. And he kind of like progressively proved me wrong. And I think he's kind of come out and done the same thing. I think the whole like a lot of people just want to jump on him. Like he's, just because he scored doesn't mean he makes the team. And it's like, yeah, but like, look at the goal, look at everything else he's doing that game. I mean, he had the one bonehead move where he, pushes Nylander into a shin pad. But other than that, like, yeah, I think he is doing all the right things, and he is going to make the team. And Berube is kind of, he's singing his praises too in interviews. So I think all signs point to him being in the lineup, and especially if someone like Calle Jarnkrok, who still can't get through a whole practice, isn't going to be in the lineup, then I think it's a definite lock. But I think he needs to be there.
Listen, it's Saturday. We're going to be all over the place. I'm going to be all over the place. Did you hear the rumor that Calle Jarnkrok is up for trade?
No, I'm not as online as you. So no, I did not hear that. Not like a little disappointing, but not at all shocking. I like Calle Jarnkrok when he's healthy, but he's hardly been able to stay healthy in the last 2 years. He doesn't provide like a game-changing amount of offense. He doesn't show up in the playoffs. So yeah, like I'm not like heartbroken if that is the case. And if he is, then they're making space then for Robertson.
Yeah, they got wingers, right? So if Cali ain't gonna play center and they got a replacement for half the price, like we said, they're penny pinching. That's the Leafs right now. That's the reality of the salary cap world. And the Leafs, Cali Yarncroke might just be an expendable person here right now because they've got a Nick Robertson.
The
And
problem is the
we've went
right-handed
through
shot stuff.
how many guys have we went through and we never mentioned Cali. We're like, no, he's a lock. We're gonna keep him. Mm,
Yeah, I
well,
think part
maybe
of it
not.
is because of the right wing thing. Like we have such a large amount of left shot wingers. Nick Robertson has he's just this year been like tested on the right side, and he's kind of said that he feels kind of comfortable. It's like a nice to enter the zone on your offhand, and you have a lot more space to work with. We've heard like when William Nylander has had to fill in on the left side, he's kind of said the same thing. Like there's positive and negatives to both, but that's the one thing with Yarncroke is he shoots right. So I think that's the part where I'm like, I don't know, like I'd almost rather trade Camp at that point and keep Yarncroke. But
That's what we said, right?
yeah, maybe one of them does have to go. I was actually putting together a lineup today, and with both of them in the lineup, you like it does work, especially if Hawkenpaw is going to be on LTIR to start and Dewar. You can keep both of them and have like two extras. You just can't have an extra defenseman, which is totally fine because of waivers. Everyone can pass this is all if Hawkenpaw is on LTIR. But like even Bobby McMahon and Holmberg can sit in the press box and be under the cap. I maybe a little bit under on what the salaries of Stolars and Pacioretty will be. I just put them both at $1 million, but yeah, I mean it's doable.
Stoller's not a PTO. He's got a contract, doesn't he?
Sorry, not Stolars. The other guy from Florida.
Lawrence.
Yeah, Lorenz. Sorry,
Lawrence.
thank you.
I was gonna say
Lorenz. Yeah,
how
I
we
just penciled him in for $1 million, same as Pacioretty, and it all does fit. So I think that like someone doesn't have to go, but yeah, if Calle Yarncroke did, that wouldn't be like massively shocking.
no,
Also,
and
Brad Treliving traded him
it's
away before, right? In Calgary.
I guess did he? He traded for him and then he expired
Oh,
and
that's
then
right.
we
He
signed
didn't
him.
re-sign him. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Traded for him, let him go. Yeah, good call.
got you.
Yeah.
So you texted me. I didn't text you. Hefty lineup tonight, eh? Some big boys on this Toronto Maple Leafs squad, and this team was not pulling punches. Neither was Jack Eye.
Oh man.
What happened there? 2x5x10. Why don't you walk us through that one? What happened there?
Well, I mean, like it all started obviously with the line A got knee to knee hit by Pere. I think that's how you say his name. Sorry if it's not.
Yep.
Yeah, and so
All right.
it was not like a like Pare didn't go out and just like
Yeah.
throw his
All right.
knee out and just go knee to knee. Like it was a squeeze play where Line A tried to split the defense. And he didn't quite make it. Line A kind of shuffled over. They go knee to knee. And so yeah, Jack Guy just decides that like regardless of what Perry does, he's going to attack him, which we all know is not the road to go. If you look through the history of the NHL, they don't like that. So yeah, he gets 2, a 5, a 10, and get the hell out of here. That's the game. So yeah, I mean I as soon as I saw what he was doing, I was just like, that guy's an idiot. Like this, like
It was predatory. It was
yeah,
malicious. It was
I know.
a lot.
I know. I mean, Perry was not going to give him just the fair fight. I think, like if it would have been like even like Ryan Reeves, like they would have just squared off, and like it would have been fine. Jack Guy like tried to just like spin him around and just say let's go, but Pare was just like no, I'm not part of this. So yeah,
Turtle. Yeah. Well, we had at that point we had Reinbacher out and Line out after this game. Which do you think is worse? Because neither one are good.
yeah. I mean, the friggin' Habs. I obviously don't really care what happens to them, but never
But
cheer for
still.
someone to get injured. And they just they have injury problems. Like Doc last year, like I think his wasn't knee to knee. It was just like a weird hit. But either way, just you can like I would not be surprised if Line's out now for months. Like I didn't hear throughout the game what happened to him. If he had gotten like an MRI or whatever, but yeah, did not look good. His lower knee went right, or at least no lower shin went right, and his upper thigh went left. Yeah, didn't look good. So, yeah, it's tough for them.
Like my dad's a Habs fan. I was looking forward
Sorry.
to the Habs and Line A. And
Yeah.
I like the competitiveness. It's a better league when the Montreal Canadiens are good. It is. I don't care what anybody says. It's better when they're good. Like, I'm not going to say that about the Sens. I'm not going to say that about the Canucks even. But it's a better league when the Montreal
How much
Canadiens
have
are
you had to
good.
drink? I don't think. What is happening,
It
Webby?
is.
I've never.
It is.
I was
And
gonna
I
say,
want
believe
them
you,
to
but
be
oh my God,
competitive.
the love for the
I don't
Habs
want them
is-
to beat
I've
the
never heard it.
Leafs. I don't want them to beat the Leafs, but it's a better
Thank you,
league
Ted.
when they're good, right? And it's just this really sucks for the Habs to lose a guy like Line A. It's funny, like my dad, he was asked by somebody the other day, who do you think the best Montreal Canadian is? And he said, Patrick Line A. Like,
Oh
that's
my
just a
God.
shot.
Yeah,
That's
my
Hopefully
dad's
the guy
That's
stoked
comes
also
for it,
back.
not
too.
true, though. Like Nick
Well,
Suzuki is way better.
Oh yeah, yes, but they're stoked
Cole
on. I mean,
Caulfield,
they're
maybe?
happy about
I
it.
don't know about Nick Suzuki, but all right.
Yeah. I'd say Nick Suzuki. Cole Caulfield is probably the most offensive, like dynamic player, but yeah, Line A. I mean, it's a huge loss, obviously, but I think I don't know. It was one of those where like I don't think Line A is the future of Montreal. Like I think it's all the other guys. It's Doc. It's
No,
New
but he's
Hook.
still a
It's
stud.
yeah. It would have been great for him to be around. No question. Yeah. It's just, and I was kind of cheering for, like, not cheering for, but excited for a new rivalry. Like today, I was doing a little bit of work at a friend's house, and he's a Habs fan, and he said, "Oh, it must have felt good beating the Habs the other night." I was like, honestly, I would have rather have gotten one against the Ottawa Senators because recently that's the bigger rivalry. And he was like, "Well, that doesn't feel good." And it's like for him, it's like, wow, my team's that out of the picture that you're not even caring
Exactly.
if.
Exactly.
So
And you know what? It's more fun to beat a team when they're good. It's like I'd rather have a rivalry where the other team, it's not like they're just terrible. They're good and we're still better than them. Like, that's the fun of this game.
I'd rather beat
It's the
them
fun of
every
all
single
sports.
time, but them to be a respectable club that you can say, like, yeah, it's not just like a free space. And
Yes,
if you lose, then it's
exactly.
like oh my God, you couldn't beat
Exactly.
them. I do agree with you there. Yeah. The one guy, though, can we talk about Lane Hudson? Like, if we're going to be on the Habs train here before we go back to the Leafs, like Lane Hudson, oh my God,
Wayne
that dude.
Hudson. Yeah,
I mean,
he's slow.
I'm saying it to everyone. Like that guy's the next Quinn Hughes. There's no denying he was the most offensively
Clip that,
dynamic
producer
player.
Ted.
Yeah,
Clip that part
clip it.
right there.
I'll
He's the
stand
next
behind
Quinn
that.
Hughes.
Honestly, though, watching him, is there anyone with better footwork on the ice tonight? Not even close. Not even close. If you put Quinn Hughes out there next to him, I would say
but
like
he was playing the Leafs like AHL squad, buddy. Like,
yeah,
what
but
do
you see someone like Easton Cowan trying to do all that junior shit, and it's not working. Lane Hudson, he's trying all of Lane Hudson shit, and it works. So like that's what's the difference, I think.
Yeah, he might be all right.
Oh man, I mean, like I'm drafting him in my keeper fantasy league.
Of course you are.
Yeah,
Of course you are.
he's. I hope that none
He's
of
gonna
the
tank.
people in that league watch this show because yeah, he's
13
gonna
points,
be on my team.
but he'll have 400 saucer passes. Hopefully you get points for that in your fantasy league. 400 saucer passes.
Hey, saucer
Look at that.
passes that turn into goals, those definitely count. So
Somebody has to score those goals.
that's true. Please put him on like with Cole Caulfield on the power play.
So,
I hope they suck,
we'll
but
see
I
how
hope
that
that
turns
gets a
out.
crazy amount of power play goals. Yeah.
We'll see how that turns out. So we had 63 penalty minutes in this game with not even a full 2 periods.
Wow.
Oh my God. David Alter tweeted this for me. Thank you, Dave, for these stats. 27 of those minutes belonged to Jack Eye.
Fair enough.
Is this just me, or is it rougher preseason than usual? I'm loving how so many players are playing like they hate the world anyways. Like, guys like that you don't really expect, even like Grabenkin, like Holmberg, There's other guys on the team too, but like, just like there seems to be quite a few guys that you don't expect the piss and vinegar from that we're getting a lot out of in this preseason.
Yeah, like when I sent the lineup to you and said like bunch of hefty guys, like I wasn't kidding. Like almost like most of the lineups over 200 pounds. Most of them are over 6'1", and a lot of them are like 6'3" to 6'4". When you really acknowledge how big the lineup is, or the Leafs lineup can be, It's pretty crazy. So I always thought it was kind of funny that the night that I said like, oh wow, the Leafs putting in a big lineup, and then all of a sudden there's 9 players on the Habs bench. I'm like, yeah, see, like we're one at a time, we're picking them off. So yeah, like I just think it's a part of Brad Living bringing in bigger bodies. Part of it is that Berube is, just trying to get the most out of their players and complimenting anyone that's willing to play bigger than their boots. So yeah, I think it's a combination of the both. And tonight, with just like that knee to knee, it just kind of like, put a fire in everyone's belly. So I wasn't shocked to see like, yeah, second period, and there's 3 fights already. So yeah, it's I think a bit of everything kind of coming together.
It was intense. It was more than a preseason game should be. I could have got tickets to this game, and I should have went to this game.
Right?
It was intense. It was super super intense. These preseason games are normally boring, and everybody plays not to get hurt. But all these kids in the Leafs, like I thought it was maybe the other teams are getting tougher. And after all these games, I'm just thinking like the Leafs are out to fuck around. I don't know when the find out comes, but they are in the fuck around phase right now. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I just hope that they don't lose too much speed, and like I don't want to just be a big team. So, hopefully that like the fast part about how Brube's preaching, fast and tough and hard in the corners, like, let's not forget about the fast part. So, like someone like Gurbankin I really like, and I see him in the future because he's also fast. Like he's really big, but he can move quick and he's got a good shot. So, I don't think he'll make the team this year, but I'm excited about him for next year. And even if he had to come up and fill in on the fourth line, like he's a big enough body that you can be okay with that. Like, back in the day when it was like Nick Abruzzese, it's like that guy's coming up from the Marlies, and it's like he's 5'10" and 160 pounds. Like, where else can you put him but in the top 6? He doesn't belong anywhere else. So, like, I like that the fringe guys are all big and strong because, they can plug and play kind of a lot easier. But also be quick. Be quick, please.
And honestly, like I don't even think that I would be upset with Gurbankin on the third line. I
No,
would take him
no.
on the third line as well. Like I know like he's got room to grow, certainly. But it's early in the season. Like I like his game. I like him a lot. Everybody's relating Easton Cowan, Darcy Tucker. Who reminds me of Darcy Tucker more than Gurbankin in this preseason? I can't tell you anybody. And like if that's the guy that we're looking for, that's the fire that we're looking to replace. This guy plays hard. He plays with heart, and he's got that little bit of shiftiness in his offensive game. He might not score a whole ton of goals, but he might end up being a 15 goal scorer that'll punch your face in. I like that. He can skate fast too. Like there's a lot of upside to this Gurbankin guy.
Yeah, I there's part of it too where, like he's like, I don't know. If you had asked, like when you asked me after the first game, I was kind of like, wow, this guy's like electric and he's on fire. There's no question I felt that fade slightly. And I think that's a little bit because of just getting used to like the fast pace and, and it's, tough play. He's probably feeling he's a little bit sore, So I think once he gets used to like, the consistency of a season, it'd be interesting to see what's his play like on a more regular basis. So I think definitely, like you said, crazy potential for a guy like that. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. Like he's definitely going to the Marlies, so I guess like we'll just see how he can perform there, and if he can put up 20 goals there, then I think there's definitely some potential for even just a shot in December when a game doesn't mean as much.
If he goes down to the Marlies, I would be disappointed if he didn't have a 20 goal season in the AHL.
Right.
Because the way that he plays is AHL hockey. It's very, very, it's goal oriented. And like, so the AHL isn't, but his game is tough and hard and north-south. And I mean, Bobby McMahon scored 25 and 30 or something like that. And that's because he plays that, rough and tough style game, north and south. And I think Gurbankin's just, I honestly think he's got another level beyond a Bobby McMahon type player.
Yeah, like I'm not 100% sold on that. I wanted to compare him when I was talking there to Bobby McMahon. I mean, yeah, he could be for sure. I'm also not sure where Bobby McMahon's going to end up in his career. Like was last year just like a flash in the pan, or are we going to see, that's who he is? And like also, is Bobby McMahon going to make the team? Like, he was on one of my extra players when I did my lineup. So yeah, it's just a tough to be a winger on this team at the moment, especially just there's a couple guys where we consider that are locks, but I don't know. Bobby McMahon was that guy. Not so sure these days if he is. So yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Also, he's
All right,
not in a
time.
game like tonight though, so like maybe that means he is, a little bit in the good graces,
Closer to the
Yeah.
side of making the team. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to think a lot of these guys playing in the game tonight were tryout guys, right? Like you wanted to see more from all these guys because in the last couple of preseason games here, it's going to be the full squad. The last preseason game should be the full squad minus maybe one or two guys who need maintenance. But like that's how we're getting to that point now.
Yeah, 100%. Although you do get some guys, like I think Matthew Nyes is a lock, and he's in a game like tonight. So is he the only one though? Like
I think he
Simone
might still be
Benoit?
proving himself to Berube.
That,
Yeah, I
that,
think Benoit's on the outside, buddy.
oh
I
man,
think we love Benoit, but I think like he was a Sheldon Keefe lover.
yeah,
Like he was a Sheldon Keefe guy. I don't know if he's got Berube yet. We'll have to see. He might just be the 13th or the 7th D. Like he might just be the outside guy. He's here, but he's not playing much. But that's what
Yeah.
I think. Anyways, let's get into DraftKings here.
Okay.
So a TD or a tutty, taking it to the house. Whatever you call a touchdown, they matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. You have game lines, passing props, and rushing props. You can bet the first quarter or the first half if you feel like your team starts slow or charges out the gate. I know how my team starts. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, a #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
All right. So, I had a question, and it's about something that I brought up on the last preseason show. This is from Steve Dangle in his tweets. He says, adding to the David Kampf might get traded discourse. If Ottawa made an all-former Leaf fourth line, Toronto might never beat them again, and that's the rules. So if we trade David Kampf, we can't trade him to Ottawa. That is the one rule that I have with all of this, because there's no possible way that we can let that happen. Is that wrong? That is the rightest thing I've ever seen on the internet ever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's trade David Camp somewhere else. I mean, it's hard to think that like that's a
Utah.
guy. That's a guy we're actually worried about. To be honest, like David
That's
Camp
exactly
should not
why.
light the lamp on you, but he will.
He will though.
Yeah.
He will though. And could you imagine like they collected the Infinity Stones? Like,
Yeah,
these
that was the.
scrap fourth liners. And now
I
all of a
don't think
sudden
I'll
we'll
be
never-
as upset as when they traded Connor Brown to Ottawa. That was like the biggest shot that I was not expecting and did not want. Hyman and Connor Brown were my favorite players when they were both on the Leafs, and so yeah, it wouldn't hurt that much, but it would definitely create a curse that I don't want to deal with. No question. Yeah.
Exactly the same. So after everything that you've seen, if you were thinking of a trade, do you have any other opinions on who could be traded? Do you have a definite guy or guys, or are you still right up in the air?
I think I'm happy enough with Holmberg where I think the best decision would be to trade Yarncroke or Camp, because I think Holmberg can fill in well enough for either of those guys. Yeah, and I think there's enough, like especially for Yarncroke, like there's enough
when you
guys
play
to
6
fill in.
minutes, anyways. Like,
Yeah,
like it's I guess the penalty kill and stuff. Like they'll figure it out. Like I just but when you're playing 6 minutes on the fourth line and penalty kill in total, it's I don't know. It's hard to justify paying a guy 2.5.
and I don't think a Berube is so locked into having like guys that are just PK guys. Like Nick Robertson was the top PK forward there tonight. Him and Holmberg. So I think that he's just like going with guys that he think can hustle and get to pucks, and he wants to put more of the star players out there, it seems like. And so yeah, like to have like I'm just not as worried about it. So I think for cap reasons, I think it's probably they should go that direction. I'm still so locked into the Kyle Dubas days where those are his guys, and just don't even think about trading someone fun and cool because it's just not going to happen. But Brad Schlering's more exciting than that. He likes making trades. I think that he is not necessarily locked into these guys because they're already here. These are Kyle Dubas guys, so it's not like he.
And
brought
we have
them
to
in.
remember. We have to remember that Tree Living was the one who made the Kachuk Huberdeau trade. That was a massive deal.
Yeah,
like this guy's got it in him.
And a great trade at the time. Like there's not one person in the world that said that was a bad deal. Tkachuk was demanding a trade, and everyone was like, "Wow, they got Huberdeau and Weegar for him. Like that's crazy." It just no one thinks that that's a great trade now because Tkachuk is who he is, and
they won the cup.
Yeah, and they won the cup, and Weegar, it was the better
Calgary's
piece out
terrible.
of that trade. So not that like I would love to have Weegar on my team, but yeah.
Same.
2020, like that's not a good trade, but he is a decent trader. Like in if you look into his history, so hopefully they can kind of pull something together here and make something happen. I'm not attached to either of those guys,
So we have 2 more NHL preseason games coming up, both against the Red Wings, and then we play our first regular season game Wednesday, October 9th against the Canadiens. In these next 2 preseason games, do you think you're going to see a tightening up of the squads? And do you think we're going to see more regulars in the lineup? Or do you think because Berube's new, we're going to see more of the irregulars in the lineup?
I would I'm more used to seeing like more of the full lineup to the second game before the regular season. So I'd probably say that, and I don't know this good. Is the next one a home game? Because like they always go with the home game is always the better player. So I guess it like I would expect that. Tryout wise, he probably has a decent.
Next one is not at home. No.
Oh.
The next one's away. It's in Detroit.
So maybe
the
they do flip it.
Preseason game is at home.
Yeah, maybe they do flip it. So like we have one more tryout, and then they just kind of have a more regular. Unless someone's banged up, then they'll probably not play that player. But yeah, I would say then we probably get one more of a tryout team.
You think we're gonna one more tryout team, and then it'll be the final squad. They're all gonna be ramping up, and it'll be pretty much the real team for the last preseason game. That's kind of how it works, but you're right. It's usually it's either the second last or the last, but since it's at home, I think you're right. It's probably going to be the at-home squad is going to be the Matthews and Marners of the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So do you got anything else to go on about this game?
I like Dennis Hildebee's game. Like the Hildebees is a huge 6'7" brick wall. All right. He's not the brick wall like Joseph Wall, but
the brick wall.
Yeah. But yeah, he's massive. He seems to have really good mobility. These tend to be the guys, like knock on wood, that get injured. But I just he I think is kind of the goalie of the future. And a lot of my friends are kind of saying that he should be like who's Joseph Wall? This Dennis Hildeby is the guy to go to, but that's a little crazy.
I do like Hildeby.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice to just have a huge goalie in net. It's the same thing with Stolarz being 6'6". Like I really like him as a backup. It's easier to be a goaltender if you're big, especially if you also have the mobility.
How much of that is new toy syndrome?
Well, I think not a lot because it was like last year he was new toy syndrome when they brought him up and he was this hot, new draft
Did
pick
he
that
even
they
play a
had.
game last year though?
No, he was the backup. Everyone wanted to
Yeah, he
play.
just
They were
sat on
just
the
protecting
bench.
him. Yeah. So I think it's not necessarily like new toy. Other like he's been good at every level. I think he's still good. And I think he's probably in a similar spot that Joseph Wall was. Just he's 2 years behind. So yeah, like I'm not talking like he's the guy for this year, next year. Just like yeah, in 2 to 3 years we might have like a pretty good guy coming through the system, which is always what
It's
you
2
want for.
years away from being 2 years away.
Maybe. I mean, like we've had a lot of goalies like that. There's no question.
Yeah.
But like that's just how goalies are. Like if a guy is 24 and playing really good, you don't throw him in there. It's I guess if you're desperate, then you can. But if he's not like this huge hotshot first round draft pick, like they normally just like, yeah, he's a really good AHL goalie for, a couple of years, and then we might try him with some sort of a veteran, like, we're doing with Wall. So I think that's just kind of where we are. If he ends up being, yeah, the guy that's 2 years from 2 years to 2 years, like, yeah, we'll talk about the next guy next preseason.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like Hildebeest. I do like it. I like his name too. That can be fun.
Yeah.
So what else you
definitely.
got?
I think that's it. I mean, other than just, I think Easton Cowan is, probably more destined to go down to the minors. The more I see him, it's just, he does try a lot of things that I'm sure he had a lot of confidence in the O, but playing in the NHL, like guys can swat pucks out of the air. Like just chipping a puck over a stick doesn't work anymore. So I think he'll probably have to take that back with him and just think about all the moves that didn't work in the NHL, and he'll have another go in the minors. And then it's just again one of those stupid situations where he has to go back and play for the London Knights because he would totally be
stupid.
one of the best players on the Marlies, but just underage. So I just wish they would get rid of that rule.
Not even underage. It's because he played in the O.
Yeah, well,
That's
the
literally
combination.
the only reason. It's a CHL thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
You have to be
because
20.
he's underage and played in the O. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's just so dumb, so dumb.
So dumb.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, let's wrap it up from there. Thanks for joining us, everybody, for Split the Defense Leafs post game presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding area since 2004. We appreciate everybody's comments. Hit that like button for us. Subscribe on YouTube. Tell your friends. Download the podcast. Rate it 5 stars. And until next time, peace out. Peace. Peace, peace.